Hello, welcome to another video. There are some interesting developments today with Ryzen. A YouTuber known as Austin Evans uploaded and then subsequently removed part of a video about Ryzen overclocking. This could be very interesting because this video showed a team at the Ryzen event, yesterday I guess it was, where they actually took a Ryzen 7 1800X up to 5.1 gigahertz across all cores running Cinebench. The score was incredible. The score was 2,449, I believe, which is actually a world record for an 8-core CPU. This is really critical because there's been a lot of questions with, we know that Ryzen's multi-core performance is pretty strong. We know that their IPC is up, but we don't know how well they overclock. And that's been a really big question leading up to the actual release of Ryzen on March 2nd. And this could point to some answers. 5.1 doesn't seem that big, especially considered in this case it was actually under liquid nitrogen, meaning you aren't likely going to be able to expect hitting 5.1 gigahertz across all cores on liquid or even air. Knowing that, I can't say what you're going to be able to hit on liquid or air. But what I can say is that you're likely to be able to hit pretty decent speeds. I'm gonna guess maybe 4.5 on a decent liquid cooled system. Another thing to keep note is Ryzen is brand new. It isn't out there yet. These professional overclockers that were doing the Cinebench score, as far as I know, just got to the CPU. They haven't. If you look at the benchmarks for a 5960X, some of those scores are pretty close to, very close to what Ryzen just hit. But the 5960X has been out for ages now. People have had time to really get a feel for what it can hit, feel out the silicon lottery, and really optimize their testing and figure out exactly how to push it, optimize their hardware. The fact that they were able to beat the 5960X day one, I think really does say a lot. Now there's another thing that I want to get into, which is actually what Intel can do. I touch on this in another video. I'm going to link it right there. But a lot of people are really wondering what is going to happen. A lot of people are even hoping that AMD is going to come and take the crown and punch Intel down to the ground. I actually don't hope that's the case. Intel has, yes, had about a decade-long lead, and that's really good for them, and it's been pretty bad for the industry. So everyone's hoping Ryzen comes along and upsets everything, and Intel falls by the wayside. But would that really be better? I mean, if Intel gets destroyed right now, why would AMD do anything different than Intel did? It would be AMD comes and takes the lead, Intel dies, and then AMD doesn't have to do anything different, just like Intel hasn't had to do anything different for a while. I think it's really important that Intel does compete well with AMD and Ryzen. I think that's critical even. What I'm hoping for is that Intel comes on with 8th generation after Kaby Lake, call it Cannon Lake. There's some debate as to whether or not they're going to be able to hit that 10 nanometer node. And whether they do or not, I honestly don't think matters that much. Hitting that will probably make what I'm going to say easier to do because transistors will be smaller, you'll be able to pack more in. But even on 14 nanometer, AMD has proven that it's possible. So all Intel has to do, they don't even have to match the prices. They don't even have to match the core counts. All they have to do is have stronger single-threaded performance on more cores than they currently have. So in the video that I linked up there, I discuss how, say if the i7 or 8700K we'll call it, was a 6-core 12-thread at the $350 price point, and the i5 8600K was a 4-core 8-thread at the $250 price point, I think that wouldn't be enough to totally destroy AMD, but if they had much stronger single-thread performance at those levels, higher base clock, and higher overclockability, they could still stay relevant, and there would be a reason to stay with them. There would be a back and forth between, well, do you want the best of just multi-core with lesser single core, or do you want the best single core with also good multi-core but not as good as them? Like, if they're both viable in their own way, I think that's the best. As long as it doesn't, stay that way, if they just sort of go pure multi-core and pure single and there's no competition there, then that's no good either. There does need to be that overlap, there needs to be that debate over which is better, and it needs to continue. For the past long time, it's been just Intel is the answer, and I'm not satisfied with that, just like I'm not satisfied with AMD just being the answer. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you liked it, throw me a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you at the next one.